Today we're going to be discussing a citation that the Illinois Department of Public Health issued to Aperion Care Fairfield nursing home after a resident sustained cervical spine fractures which resulted in her death due to a fall from bed. My name is Barry Doyle. I'm a lawyer in Skokie practicing nursing home abuse and neglect work throughout the state of Illinois. I'm also the author of Built to Fail, a free report available for download from my website, which spells out how the nursing home business model inevitably produces unnecessary injuries and deaths for nursing home residents. Trunk control refers to the strength of the core muscles, the muscles of the abdomen and lower back, to help keep the upper torso in its normal position. When somebody lacks trunk control, the fall risk that develops from that is that the core muscles don't keep the torso in a proper position, and as a result the resident is out of balance and predisposed to having significant falls. The resident who was at issue in this particular incident was quite elderly and apparently lacked adequate trunk control. She'd had a specialized wheelchair provided to her with various positioning aids to help her maintain her position in the wheelchair. There was an order in place for the resident to have side rails in place to help her maintain her position in bed, and this is not typically an order that is issued. Generally, the use of side rails in this setting would be a restraint. However, given this resident's apparent lack of trunk control, this is something that was felt necessary to help prevent falls from bed. On the day of the incident at issue, the resident was being served her meal. The aide came in, raised the bed to an upright position, and positioned the meal on the bedside table in front of the resident. In order to get the bed up into a full upright position, the side rails had to be taken down. After the resident was brought into that full upright position, the resident left the room to go deliver trays to other residents. After the aide left the room, the resident fell from bed. Her roommate called out for help, and when the staff arrived, they found that she had fallen from bed and had an obvious head injury as a result of this. She was brought from the nursing home to the hospital, where a CT scan showed that she had fractures of the C1 and C2 vertebrae. These are the two vertebrae at the very top of the spine, and injuries to these vertebrae often turn out to be fatal. The resident was stabilized, placed into a hard collar, and returned to the nursing home and admitted to hospice care at that point. Now, there were certainly some issues with the care that this resident received. There was an order and a care plan in place which called for the use of side rails. When the resident was put up into this full upright position, the side rails were taken down. This was a violation of both the physician orders and the care plan. If it wasn't physically possible for the side rails to be left in place when the resident was receiving eating her meals, she should have been seated in a chair where that upright position could be more easily maintained. Further, the resident's MDS, or minimum data set, reflected that she needed extensive assist of one person with eating. The minimum data set is a document which is submitted to the federal government, which outlines the levels of care that the resident needs and has been receiving. When the MDS reflects that the resident is getting assist of one with eating, this means that there is an actual staff member involved with feeding and helping the resident. In this particular case, the meal was brought to the resident and the aide left to go deliver other trays. Under these circumstances, the aide should have been in the room actually providing the meal to the resident, helping her eat. And what this ends up reflecting is that the nursing home really wasn't providing the levels of care that they were being paid for by the federal government. The MDS, or minimum data set, helps establish the level of reimbursement that the nursing home receives for the care that the resident is receiving, and it's certified under oath that this is the level of care that's required. If the nursing home was certifying to the federal government that there was this level of care being provided, the resident was entitled to receive that care, and obviously that wasn't the case at the time of this particular fall. All of these things, the lack of staff, the failure to comply with the physician's orders, and the failure to comply with the care plan led ultimately to this resident suffering a serious fall, which sadly either has turned out or will turn out to be a fatal injury for this resident. And sadly, it was a injury which really is very preventable. I hope you found this interesting. If you have any other questions regarding this or any other nursing home abuse and neglect issue, please feel free to reach out to us. Our number is 312-263-1080, or we can be reached on the internet at www.accidentlawillinois.com. Thanks for watching.